Hey, welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man, Rod Love. And with me tonight, we have none other than the Doc Polite. How you doing tonight, Doc?
Hey, what's up? I'm sitting over here trying to find it. We miss Mondo, y'all. He's on assignment. He on
Hey,
Mondo
what do
level
you call, what's
assignment.
your new name
So,
for Mondo?
huh?
What you call Mondo?
Sometimes Mondo, sometimes.
Mondo sometimes. Well, Mondo sometime is out on special assignment, but we also have the general who's on special assignment tonight.
There you go.
There we go. There we go. But yeah, we got the General Attorney Greg Jackson that's on special assignment tonight. Y'all know Greg. He be doing his thing now. Greg is multifaceted, multi-talented. So, brother Jackson, we know you with us.
And one of the best lawyers, attorneys,
Personal injury, yes, sir.
extraordinaires in the state of Florida.
Hey, and Doc, I don't, usually get to this point where I ask you about that number for Attorney Jackson. I don't know if you got it in the hopper or not, but Doc, man, how was your weekend this weekend, man? I'm gonna do a Greg Jackson on you. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. There's Attorney Jackson number 475-64-6604. Y'all give him a call for all your legal needs.
Hey, and you know what? When you talk about somebody who gets out there and knows how to win, Attorney Greg Jackson knows how to win. And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that he is an attorney with the Dan Newland Law Firm. So, Attorney Greg Jackson, big shout out to you, brother.
And Greg has a very wide experience in law. He's been
Attorney General,
a state attorney, right?
Well, he was working for
he worked for the state attorney.
Yeah.
Okay. He's worked at a law firm that basically was corporate law.
Yeah.
And now
that dealt with a lot of what you, Doc, was it your property issues?
Yeah. And he's also he's attorney of record for various municipalities and the CSRA organization. So, I mean, the man's resume is boom.
Yeah, and Doc, let me because let me correct. Attorney General, not state attorney, I believe.
It wasn't? Okay.
Yeah, worked for the Attorney General. Yeah, Greg worked for the Attorney General's office, and you also reference Greg has man, he understands CRA agencies, community
like no
development
other.
agencies. Yeah.
Because I've talked to him, I knew a little bit. I knew enough to be uninformed, but in listening to him over the years, I got a better understanding. Because like when you talk about CRAs, you usually think, oh, that's money for the cities get that and they can do anything with it. And he educated us. He's like,
He's straightened everybody out on that.
With that money. It's for specific. Right. It's earmarked for specific reasons.
And you know what? The other thing that Greg did,
redevelopment.
Yeah, but the thing he taught about that is the fact that if you're a local municipality and you have a designated CRA, you can only do what's within that CRA plan, and that CRA plan has to comply with state statute. So that's a lot of the Attorney Greg Jackson teaching right there, Doc.
Yeah. He keep us on point now.
Absolutely. Hey, speaking of that, and I didn't want to jump to this too fast, Doc, but since we on, when we're talking about CRAs and I guess, Doc, when you talk about a type of taxation, if you would.
Yeah.
One of the things, man, that has been, a hot item, man, has been the tourist development tax issue where Orange County has a task force.
Listen, I still do a political consulting every now and then, just a little bit. So this season, I have a candidate that I'm helping over there in Orange County and a candidate over here. This is like candidate over here is a Republican. I always have to bring that up because, I'm fascinated when I find myself walking under the R, because this is my only second time walking under the R. But a lot of the things that the guy I'm working with, we click. and it resonated. So that's why I always tell people, I'm not going to walk around hating Republicans. I'm not going to walk around hating white people. I'm not going to walk around hating Muslims or anybody. That's just not how I operate. I am uh, uh, too much of a critical thinker and too educated, and I completely understand that there's a variable in everything we got. Okay, it's good and bad in everything. My grandma used to say that. There's good and bad in everything. You find good and bad no matter where you go. So you know, the thing about working in that, we get to see a different perspective.
You're right.
Like we always talk about the different perspectives and everything, and um, understanding that is critical.
Doc, I think where you're going with that, man, and if I could, common interest.
Yeah,
You know, and Doc, it used to be a point in time to where it didn't matter. Yeah, you could be red, you could be blue, but you can still have conversations that were of common interest. And
yeah,
you
and
know,
and and you know that, and getting back to the tourism dollar thing, um, you know, you don't want to go around and bash the tourism industry, but at the same time, especially in with the tourist development dollars, you got to understand that part of the reason that we spend so much money in Orange County is that we have that tourism
you're right.
industry there.
You're right.
And they don't, from my understanding, me looking at now, this is nobody else's perspective. They don't want to, they feel that they should not have to spend money on infrastructure and other social things that have to do with the citizens. But my argument against that is that if we were not providing services to you, we wouldn't need to spend that money. We would not need to have the level of law enforcement we do, because uh, crime is up in tourism areas and down in other areas of Orange County. They don't like to say that. You know what the number one tourism, the number one human trafficking corridor is?
Where's that?
I Drive. This is well established.
But
There's a lot of prostitution that goes on out there.
And Doc, to your point though, and I hear and understand what you're saying, but to your point, and I think you brought it up when you opened up with this conversation. Yeah, we're not going to discount the fact that Central Florida is a tourism industry, and it's a hell of a economic engine. One of the things that Doc,
exactly, and my thing that amazes me, it doesn't seem to be any real oversight outside of the agency governing itself, and I think that that's a very bad recipe.
Well, one of the things, Doc, that I had never seen before since I've been living here, and I mean, you've been here longer than I have, but just last week, the task force, the TDT task force, came back and rejected one of the two of the proposals. One of the proposals was the expansion of the Orange County Convention Center, which, based on the recommendation or based on the request, it would have actually ate up maybe about 50% or more of the TDT funds that are available. That's the first thing. Then the second thing that they also rejected was the proposal for a baseball team here in Orlando. So I'd never seen before, Doc. And you know what? When you look at the Orlando Magic, man, just think about how long have they been here, Doc? That started out with a dream. And, it creates business here in this community. But again, Doc, I would have never imagined to see that task force. And don't get me wrong, I'm not agreeing nor disagreeing, but it.
But what now? A key difference is, Rod, I know since its inception, the Magic has carried a lot of its own water. They have a significant track record of contributing to the well-being of Orlando and the city itself. That's well documented.
Doc, you have about is it like 4 or 5? I can't remember what they named them, but they're gyms in communities that the Orlando Magic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And they've forever, that's forever been their position. They are in partnership with the city.
but Doc,
They
and to your point,
understand that.
before you leave off of that point, because I think you are really kind of going into a place that at some point in time we'll drill down into, because now you see a lot of requests for public arena or public stadium funding. And to your point, the Magic has in this community stepped forward and they've reinvested back into the community.
Oh, absolutely. And they have consistently always done that. Listen, the Magic is the stand-up organization. They just are, and they have been since they've been in Orlando. You find very few negative anything about the Orlando Magic. The
Classy
leadership, the
organization.
coaching, even the players. It's just not something that organizational wise that they foster. They make you know that they are committed to being part of the community. The TDC doesn't. The TDC operates as its own little kingdom and fiefdom, and it doesn't feel like it has to do any support of anyone other than its own ambitions and wishes. That's what's going to choke them. They're going to end up choking on that, because see, people will start resenting them, and I think that's a lot of what's going on right now. People are seeing how they should be contributing and they're not. And I don't know if the leadership is tone deaf, but they need to read the writing on the wall.
But I think, Doc, to your point though, again, I'd never ever witnessed recommendations that, every time you heard TDT, you would hear about the expansion of the Orange County Convention Center. And let me say this, Orlando ranks nationally when you talk about convention centers, because you got Vegas and you got a couple of other places, man, that they draw that economic crowd to where they're creating jobs. Orlando ranks in that class. And again, I'm just saying to you, I never imagined that that task force would have rejected that. But I love their independence, and we'll see, I guess, tomorrow when they meet and make the recommendations for funding, which subsequently has to be codified by the Orange County Board of Commissioners. We'll see what happens.
Well, again, we're seeing really what I call a fight. This idea that something can exist outside of everything else that's around it, and it's not answerable to anyone. And I think that we are seeing that in the tourism organization that runs Orange County Tourism. And so we have to ask ourselves, whose money is it? Who's providing this money? Okay. And what was the intention of us voting to allow this to be there? The tax dollars was supposed to be for what? To promote.
Yeah, but let me say this, Doc. Let me say this, and I want to say this so everybody really understand. Doc, before I sat on the dais as a Orange County Commissioner, I was one of the ones on the sideline saying those dollars deserve to be shared with the community, until I really understood and learned where those dollars come from. And when you ask the question, where do they come from? Those dollars come from what they call heads and beds in the tourism district. So
I understand that. Now, I know where it comes from. I'm that was basically a rhetorical, but it comes at the expense. There's a human cost in Orange County to that. Those heads and beds don't get those heads and beds don't get filled without the people of Orange County.
You're absolutely correct. And Doc, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And here's the thing. Now, the tourism industry is one of the lower wage industries in most places. Okay, a significant portion of the tourism uh, industry employees get what? Government assistance
And Doc, we can't have this.
because they're not. Go ahead.
But we can't have this and I know where you're going. We can't have this conversation without uh, celebrating and recognizing a trailblazer. You know who I'm about to talk about. And you're right. I understand when you talk about tourism, when you're talking about wages and things of nature. But man, we can't have this conversation without recognizing Mr. Harris Rosen and the things
Oh
that
yeah.
he did, because he created his own healthcare vehicle within his organization. And you talking about, of course, we're talking about Rosen Hotels, because he saw where there were some gaps, and so I don't
I'm not
disagree
saying
with
the industry as a whole is about taking, because the truth is that many of the organizations in and of themselves are participants in Orange County. You got look, I mean, think about how much Orlando Health does and Florida Hospital does.
you.
I
Yeah,
mean, they are always at the forefront. Okay, United Way. You
Advent.
have to understand, and I'm not talking about right. I'm not talking about giving giveaways. A lot of these programs that these organizations offer are about overall holistic quality of life for the community. They're not out there giving away. They're making sure that Orlando and Orange County and Central Florida are healthier, okay, are better functioning places. But
Doc,
at this,
you having a great conversation, and come on into that circle.
I got my other camera up today, but
Okay.
and it don't track me the way it should. There we go. So, but we have to understand that while we're not attacking the tourism industry, it is okay for us to criticize. You can't, I'm not going to tell you wonder everything about you is wonderful. Nobody's 100% wonderful, not even me.
I
Okay,
hear
as
you.
much as I
Yeah.
like to think I am, I'm not. Okay, it's somebody out there can't stand me. That's okay. Everything has its detractors, but
There's always room for improvement. Yeah.
exactly.
I'm
But
with you.
the reason I'm harping on this, Brian, is that let me show you. Let me show you something, because I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this. Let me get this up. Where my stuff at?
Hey, for those of you who want to join the conversation, you on Let's Talk Nation with Rod Love and Doc Polite, please dial in at area code 407-921-6195.
Okay, I'm gonna walk the people through, because sometimes Doc sound crazy, because I sometimes I
You don't
do go
sound crazy,
in,
brother. You don't sound
in
crazy.
left field and people can't follow. This, my friend, is the result of uh made me forget the name of the program.
Hey man, hey, you know what?
Uh,
You surprising me, but that's a good surprise. This is about King Solomon. Well, one of the
well,
organizations.
let's explain
Okay,
what it is. Okay, tell us about the program that created it.
okay. This is one of 5 programs, man, that is based out of Orange County. It's a youth violence prevention initiative, and when people think about human services, uh, this takes human services to a whole nother level. Aside from the service, this is digging deep so that you can understand what taxpayers' dollars invested into. And so, Doc, I think
Wait,
that's
wait
where
a
you.
minute. I want you to tell them about the program that created the information. Tell them about
Okay, okay,
CPAS.
okay. CPAS is a technology, a proprietary technology for human
What does
services.
CPAS mean?
CPAS stands for Contract Performance Analysis System.
And
It's
what does it do?
real-time data. Human services, it lets you know how much you're doing, how well you're doing it. You can get real-time data if you want to run uh, utilization report to see if you're where you need to be in terms of providing your services, the quantity of your services. It basically helps you if you know you got a contract and you got $100,000 in that contract. It also measures the value of that contract, whether it's philanthropic or whether it's taxpayer dollars. It's going to let you know if you're getting the best and highest uh, need out of those dollars and show you where you're utilizing those dollars at. And if you're underutilizing, now it will help you recharge yourself so that you can actually do what the expectation is. And Doc, one of the things that you love
Okay,
about it.
now I'm gonna go ahead and translate that for us regular folks.
Okay.
Basically, basically what Rod is explaining is that CPAS allows an organization to look at its real time costs and impact that the money that is being utilized, how it's spent, and what it can save. Okay, because a lot of times what happens is, and not just governments, a lot of businesses, because they are so multi-layered, they tend to overspend or throw money at things that they don't need to spend money on. CPAS allows you to see in real time the return on investment on your money. So this is what I wanted to get to, because I'm going somewhere with it. So let me explain. Now I'm gonna break this down. So this is a infographic about King Solomon Foundation, which was which worked with FPC last year on Orange County services contract. So now last year we've one of the things that FPC did was identify key high risk zip code that in many ways drove the cost of services in Orange County. And they looked at certain populations and demographics in there, and they identified the more problematic instances and clients that needed help, so that they don't fall into juvenile detention, and they don't fall into incarceration and other things like that, drug addiction and all
right.
those things, for avoidance. And King Solomon served 346 unique clients. Okay. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Looking at this, if you look at taxpayer return on investment, now, without this program, Orange County would have spent $2.4 million providing the services that otherwise would have been needed had King Solomon not reduced the cost. So Orange County paid King Solomon $243,000 and some change to manage this program. And because that, they realized an actual cost avoidance in that high risk zip code area. They saved $2.1 million. And that means that for every dollar they spent, they saved $9.86, basically $10. Now, if I was an investor, do you not think I would invest in King Solomon? Because my return is so good. You could save money in your bank account right now. You're barely getting 2% interest.
Doc, I like this.
On this. The return is, you're getting $10 for every dollar you spent. That means you're making $10 on every dollar that you got.
Man, Doc, I am so proud, and I gotta tell my staff that flow chart from 2023 to 2026, it's so self-explanatory. And the way you broke that thing down is you can follow that. Here's a program that over 3.5 years cost $243,000. But then when you look at the cost avoidance for those same kids, just as you mentioned, in those high-risk zip codes that were avoided from actually going through child welfare, going through juvenile detention, and you look at what that cost avoidance was, $2.4 million. But then when you look at it specifically in the high-risk zip code areas, you're looking at $2.1 million. But I love the way you say it best, Doc, when you
But
look
you know
at
what? And we're not even y'all. We're not even talking about longitudinal impact.
yeah,
Longitudinal impact is over a lifetime, because at this moment you change the trajectory of these young people with these programs. They now are that more less likely to end up in penitentiary in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. That's a prolonged. That's longitudinal, meaning going down the line,
yeah.
long term. This is the beauty of programs ran right.
Hey,
When
Doc, you
a
were in the business.
municipality,
Doc, you were in the business some years ago, man, and you work with a lot of young people in residential settings, man. I mean, you could speak to that better than I can. What's your thoughts on when you see this cost avoidance and you see these kids actually having breakthroughs? And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, along with King Solomon Foundation, was Morgan Ministries, was also I Hope Mentoring. You had Tucson Boxing and Fitness, and last but not least, you had Power Teams. These 5 collective programs serve different entities in different communities. They built trust. But going back to your point, when you look at cost avoidance and Owens County actually never having to pay the toll, if you would, back to the state because these kids went into the juvenile detention center. That in itself, man. I mean, and you work with a lot of these young people.
yeah, and it's great because I would much rather educate a child than to incarcerate a child. Okay, because incarceration means that somewhere, somehow, this child has been failed. And we've got, and it's not just on government. We got to take interest. I saw a story this weekend about the principal in Carroll City
Oh yeah.
High School in Miami, and this lady has taken this place. She took that school from an F to an A in 1 year. Why? Because she put in standards and discipline and expectations. And guess what? Them kids didn't whine. Them kids met her. Because I guarantee them kids realize this lady really, really all about us.
And Doc, I know you're abbreviating it, but you called me over the weekend and told me about, and I don't know where you found it at, but Doc, that wasn't easy for her to do.
No, anybody know? Well, you from Miami, so you know what Carroll City. I'm not talking about it in a negative way, but it's just like Paramount. You face life challenges in Carroll City, in Overtown, more so than Coconut Grove. Well, I don't know how Coconut Grove is now, but in South Beach, you're gonna have some adversity in those communities.
So Doc, to that point, and you and I had this conversation, and we constantly having these conversations. This woman who is the principal at Carroll City, we've had the conversations about caretakers and trailblazers. To me, this woman is a trailblazer, man. She just didn't go and say, I'm going to just oversee what was already here and be the caretaker year after year. This woman, basically, she changed the game.
And see, and that's what she's bringing. She's bringing leadership, okay? And when people, the complaint, why she's made the news is that parents are complaining that she's too strict and that she needs to lighten up. Because the first day of school, guess what she did? There was a uniform.
Oh, she
met
had
them kids right. She closed off all the entrances except for one, and every child in that school had to come through there. If they didn't have that uniform, guess what happened? It went home.
Get admitted. Yeah.
And see, expectation. Because what many people fail to understand is the world don't owe your child a damn thing. It don't owe you a damn thing. And nobody's going to get out there in the world and be looking at and make sure that you're comfortable and that you got everything you ever wanted or needed. So that ain't the way the world works.
So Doc, what did they attribute the turnaround? Was it attributed to uniforms, which reduced distractions, or what was it that?
Well, it's a combination, and that's been proven. And again, you and I like study, but there's lots of empirical data to support the use of school uniform because it reduces one thing that kids live on: and that's social acceptance and status. See, when you got on the Jordans and when you got on the the best Nike and all of that, that becomes your personality. But when we all look alike, guess what? We don't have a differentiator.
So
Now,
you eliminate, yeah.
what we do in school, how we do in school becomes what our resume is. It ain't what we got on; it's what we know. What's up here?
So Doc, I mean, again, it comes back down to leadership.
Yeah, one of the things I remember, um, and people can say old people used to be cruel. I tell people I'm a child of the '60s and the '70s, and we weren't allowed to hang out with kids who got D's and E's in school. Them wasn't the kind of kids we was allowed to be around.
Hey, association.
Exactly. Oh, that child, they ain't gonna amount to nothing. Old people was like that. They tell you that boy there ain't nothing but trouble. He can't come over here. Nope.
But
you're not.
Doc,
Go home, son. You're not welcome at my house.
But you know what, Doc? That's how it was back in the day, and that's not a bad deal for today.
Yeah, and people would interview the child, say, "Who your people?" Oh, you one of them? No, honey, you go ahead on home. And listen, I can hear my grandmother right now in my ear. Look at him. You let that little boy stay over there, cause he ain't come from no good family. His people don't know how to act, and I know he don't know how to act. And that meant something. You understand? Now, people now, they would be offended by it, but those people looked at what you did. They looked at your reputation. You told them how to treat you.
But Doc, remember,
what you did.
It went back, though, to when, family names meant the whole lot.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you would get whippings back in the day, and I don't want to go back old school, but you'll get disciplined by even the hint of ruining the family name.
Listen, when you recognize character, I used to watch people come and visit my grandmother, and the way that they approached this lady, it had me in awe, because a lot of times they had a certain tone of reverence for her. Miss Norma Bell, I really need your advice. Her name was Norma, and Norma Bell. That was the
Norma Bell.
Yeah, Norma Bell Reddy, or Rutherford, and they would come to see her, and they would have so much respect and reverence in their conversation with her, because they knew, okay, this is a lady that has a lot of wisdom, has lived a lot of life, so she's not going to be a person that's going to sugarcoat it and give it to me any kind of way. She's going to be honest with me.
But she earned respect.
Right now, I'm at a place in my life where I need that honesty.
Yeah.
Because I know she's a caring person. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But she earned respect, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's just giving it to her for her age. She earned it because the wisdom that she had. And a lot of times we're not seeing that. And that's why people can open their mouths at this lady in Carroll City and say that. Because we don't embrace the level of respect for what a person does anymore.
Well, you know what, man? I'm gonna always embrace those trailblazers, and I know, you can push the limit. Sometimes people say too much, but man, I'm gonna always err on the side of those trailblazers. Doc, I'm gonna talk your language about something else real quick. Mm-hmm. Artificial intelligence and the Central Florida workforce. Regional economic development leaders say businesses are increasingly seeking AI skills and using technology to increase productivity. I mean, you, me, and the general, we were having this conversation 7-8 years ago when, the discussion about
we kept telling people it's coming.
It's coming.
I mean, I can look back over the years and the number of times that we told people about AI and it was coming and what it was going to do. And now we're in the infancy. We ain't even cracked the top 1% of AI. We really haven't. So AI is going to start. Listen, the hotel that little getaway hotel I told you about over in Daytona. Oh,
Yeah,
not in
yeah,
Daytona, but
yeah,
what is that? Ormond Beach.
yeah.
Operated all through AI.
Through AI.
It you call it, you call the number. AI answers. Then AI checks you in. Then AI sends a signal to that door, and you check in. It checks you in, Rod. You can't
But
go
guess
into the
what?
room till the AI release it.
Yeah, but guess what that did also, Doc? That
But
meant you didn't need that other workforce body to pay.
right,
But
there
then
was no front desk clerk.
no front desk clerk. But then what did that mean for the business that basically utilized technology? What did it mean for that business? That means they
Well, that
increased their
business is
profit.
going to grow.
Yeah,
It's going to grow. It's going to reduce costs. You got to look at payroll costs. Not only that, but how many intangibles that we don't count.
you're right. Speaking of an
Sick
intangible,
sick pay.
yeah, but speaking of intangible, Doc, here go a question that somebody just sent in. Or Orange County, and they're asking the question: is Orange County schools, Valencia, UCF, and workforce programs preparing people for jobs that will exist 5 years from now, or jobs that existed 5 years ago? That's 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 a heck of a question.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Um,
I'm gonna let you go, but my response to that, I can't see them preparing people for jobs that existed 5 years ago because we're moving so fast forward with AI and robots and technology. It's hard to keep up.
well, a lot of those people, young people, aren't looking for those jobs that existed 5 years ago.
You're right.
They're not interested
Would
because
you?
they see more than we do what is coming in the pipeline because
Yeah.
they're adjacent to it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They are living it as it's being developed, so they're well aware of where the trend is moving to.
Hey,
So
Doc,
they're not looking to go in those traditional pathways because they know that those are not going to be there.
hey, Doc, remember when you, Greg, and myself were sitting on this show 7, 8 years ago, and we were talking about um, when Sam's uh, and Costco's started creating these self checkout.
Yeah.
And they used to have like 20 rows of people who would check you out, cash you out, but then they started getting all of these individual checkout units. But then, a couple of years fast forward, you saw Sam start reducing those self checkouts and hiring more people to actually check out. What was
You
going on
know,
with
at,
that?
at one point, and I'm glad you asked me this because I found out an answer up to my friendly Walmart. Um, because I went in Walmart one night and I was talking to one of the managers and I said, I see y'all are shutting down those self checkouts, huh? And I said, what? A lot of people stealing? And she said, no. I said, well, why y'all shut them down? She said because it reduced the interaction with our customers and it's having an effect
Wow.
that they
And you know
didn't
what?
intend.
I would have thought the first thing you just said.
And so I said, well, I can understand that, but y'all got to put more than one person in the ones you still happen over. I said, that's the problem. I said, to me, I told her, I say, hey, I was in management for years. I said, when when you are serving the customer, that's an investment. That's a return because they feel seen. You got somebody in the self checkout, and a lot of people aren't savvy.
Yeah. So, so,
So
so,
they
Doc,
stand
let
up
me ask
there,
you this.
and it takes them 15 minutes to check out 3 items.
Well, so Doc, let me ask you this because I'm glad and thank you for schooling me on this because I would have actually thought it was the first thing that you said, but then you bring
And
it.
and and, and I thought that was just it's like 1 + 1 = 2, and I was adding it up in that manner. But she said no, it's because it really reduced that human interaction.
So, to your point, to that point, you do know the research that's taken place over decades when you talk about our theme parks here in Central Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do know that one of the things that rate the highest is not going to a theme park and the rides and all of that kind of stuff. People come back to Central Florida theme community because of the experience that they
Yeah.
had. And so with that, that kind of goes to your point. If you're saying that she basically the person you spoke to told you no, it's not theft. It was that, you want to lose customers that go to Sam's or Costco and they don't have an
Think,
experience
think,
at all.
think about the places that we think of in terms of premium service. We think about Publix,
Yeah, yeah.
Chick-fil-A, and I don't know if you've ever been to Culver's. Culver's
Not yet.
Hamburgers and Ice
Not,
Cream.
I haven't, yeah. But I
Go
get your
there.
point with
It's
Publix
Chick-fil-A
and
for
Chick-fil-A.
hamburgers. Okay. You're in and out there. You don't get pulled up. You go to McDonald's right now. You can order a fry and a burger. They say, "Oh, pull up. We'll bring it out to you." It's fast food. Why does it take that long for you to give me a hamburger and fries? You are fast food. And
Man.
this is not sometimes. McDonald's is one of the worst for customer services right now. Uh, I mean, and you could be the only one in line, Rod, and you got to sit there and wait.
So Doc, I'm gonna I'm gonna take us in a different direction because now you made me hungry. Hey Doc, as we sit here this evening, we're sitting on the election eve for Orange County, and there's a number of races that are taking place. And this is the Florida primary, which is going to take place tomorrow. And we got major seats that are up for election. And I'm gonna just go ahead, Doc, and start out. One of the major seats that's up for reelection is the county mayor seat, and you got four individuals that are running for that seat. You got Chris Messina, you have Tiffany Moore Russell, you have Stephanie Murphy, and Myra Uribe. And
And Greg and I touched on this last week, and we all know the candidate, and in fact, we interviewed all of them,
yeah,
and
yeah,
basically, and one of the things we know that a lot of them bring good resumes to it. So all we can say to them is good luck. We're not going to litigate this thing at 11th hour.
yeah.
Tomorrow is voting, and early voting ended this weekend, and everything. I went and voted. My wife went and voted and stuff, and we did our thing. And so we understand that whoever gets in that position for Orange County needs to take a hard, fast look at the direction it's going, because Orange County is going in the wrong direction, and it has been for the last 8 years. Now
With,
I'm gonna just say it that way.
with Doc,
There's a lot of things that uh, should have been done a lot better. I think about the incident of the supervisors of election office, and now the current supervisor is making rookie mistakes, bad mistakes that are costing money.
well, Doc,
You know,
if you don't mind, let's do this. Let's run down this list, and then we can circle back to supervisor of elections office. So we've
okay.
already
So
mentioned.
so okay. The next one is Orange County Commissioners. That's a lot of folks. I'm gonna jump down to 7, District 7. Now,
Okay,
there's a whole gang of folks in there. You got Selena Carter, Shannon Curry, Jakaya K. Fillmore, Angie Gardner, Deidre Graybill, Rashida Doris Jones, Gloria Joyner, Aaron Lewis, Zach Moldoff, Patricia Rump, Burl Thomas McClary, and Vicky Vargo. Now,
so
that's a lot of folks, and a lot of them are first time. Most of them are first time.
because you have two additional new Orange County seats
Right.
that are there. And Doc, I anticipate there's going to be, when you look at that many people, there's going to be a runoff in District 7. There may be runoffs in multiple districts. For District 2, you have Camille Brown, Mike Crabb, Wes Hodge, George Oliver III, and Marsha Summerseal that's running for District 2.
District 6, you got Loud Delise, Lawana Gelzer, Cynthia Harris, Heather Pierre Joseph, and Mike Scott, who's the incumbent. In that district, that district was changed quite a bit as well, because part of the new district absorbed some of the old District 6. So you got that change there.
Yeah,
So
you're right. You're right.
This time, a lot of the people who are voting in that race did not vote for Scott. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic about that race.
Okay,
I think it's about.
So you're saying that more of it got carved into, some of it is a new geographic, is what you're saying,
right? And I think the number is like it's above 50% of that district now didn't vote for Scott.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Doc, we also have County Commission District 4, which has Brian Jones, Johanna Lopez, Isabella Arthur, who is a qualified write-in. So, Doc, a qualified write-in is, what do you have to hit the streets to have a ground game to be a write-in?
Man, do you?
So she's a qualified write-in. That means she has a team.
Collected a lot of signatures.
Yeah. Wow.
She got out there and hit the ground. So, it's retail politics. Yeah, I tell people all the time, yard signs don't vote.
And Doc, that's the only qualified write-in that I see in all of the races that we have. So that's going to be interesting.
Okay, in District 8, we got Isaiah Lewis Anderson, Tatiana Fernandez, George House, Jeanette Quinones Hernandez, Julio Roca, and Victor Torres Jr. Victor M. Torres Jr.
So those are the county commit. Those are a lot of Orange County Commission seats.
Yeah, that's 8 districts now. So
yeah,
that's tremendous growth for Orange County. Did you
add
2 more districts?
5 out of 8. That's up for re-election.
Yeah.
So boy,
you got school board, Alicia Ferrant
for the school board chair, right?
Yeah, for school board chair versus Angela Gallo. District 1 is Melissa Lopez Marrantes and David Shepard. District 2 is Marisol Lugo and Gloria Renee O'Neill. District 3 is Ileana Adorno, Diana Moore, and Suzanne Pena.
Boy, you impressed me. You gonna become a commentator.
And contested, the judges' races are always fascinating to me because they really can't campaign.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you know if the person can't campaign? But see, this is where having surrogates can be powerful.
You're right.
I haven't seen anybody ever do that tactic. Put their surrogates out there as a judge and tout them.
See, and that's the question we need to ask.
I had somebody
about.
we know that ran for judge, and I told them to do that, but they ain't want to listen.
Hey, so you can't
they asked didn't win.
Out there. So you can't put surrogates out there.
They did not win.
So, Doc, though, but you can put your surrogates out there, though, right?
Yeah, there's nothing to limit you from having surrogates. Nothing.
Well, I tell you
now, they can't go out there and make legal claims.
Gotcha.
But that's in any race.
So, Doc, you have your contested county judicial races. County Judge Group 5, you had Asima Azim, Kaif Kennedy.
No, Coffee
Kennedy.
Kennedy.
And that's group 5. And then in group
Mhm.
17, who do you have?
Cherish Adam and Joy Goodyear.
Hey, and I have to go ahead and make this special note, Doc. Uh, for the circuit court judge, man, I tell you, you have Camilla Perry, man, that's been everywhere, man, just out there knocking on doors, man, and you know, earning earning the votes.
Yeah,
So this
yeah.
is going to be,
She now she has surrogates. Who her people is.
yeah.
And
I mean, come
so
on,
they
we
now
can say,
they know how
we can say
to press the press the
her
flesh.
people is historical, and you're talking about Supreme Court Justice James Perry, Florida Supreme Court
Yeah,
Justice,
yeah,
who happened to be her
that's her
father.
dad.
Yeah,
And so the Supreme Court Justice Perry, he is well connected, amazing person. I mean, just a wonderful person. Just talking to him, I'm helping him with a project, and we be kicking it on the phone and laughing and stuff.
you helped him with
But
a documentary. That's what you
yeah,
hey, when he
and
came into the
and
studio.
so just to sit, I tell him, I say, Judge, I say, I love talking to you because every time I hang up this phone, I got a new nugget. I say, this is why I listen and pay attention my whole life to my elders, because they are always dropping nuggets. Sometimes they dropping nuggets, don't even know it's a nugget. And you
Yeah,
can take that thing and you brush it up and it's shining for you.
you're right.
And so, never despise wisdom. Only a fool despises wisdom. The Bible tells you that. Only
And,
a fool despises wisdom.
and Doc, to
And
have him
so
come
when
in and
you have those opportunities, but Judge Perry, his pedigree is there, and you see it in his daughter.
you're right.
You can definitely see it in her, and I think that she is a well-grounded, rounded person that will be a great judge. Now, I'm not, I'm just saying this from a position of her personality, her character, her character tells you that she would be a great judge to sit on the bench because she's going to be fair and balanced, and we
Yeah,
need that
and Doc, from that though, I mean, what you get from her is that she is going to be a true interpreter of what
of
the
the
law
law.
says. You
Yeah,
know?
she's not going to get in there and legislate, and because a lot of people don't understand that some judges, both liberal and conservative, they get in there and they legislate, and that's not what judges should be doing. They should not be rewriting the law or interpreting it a way that the law is not written.
Yeah. So Doc, I gotta say, we was originally just gonna give our 2 cents on Camilla Perry, but we went ahead and gave our 10 cents on Camilla
Yeah,
because
but
she
hey,
just
but let's talk about the supervisor less
she just that impressive.
election.
Yeah, Doc, where do we start with that? Where do we start, man?
This happened last year, last year as well.
Well, but
If memory serves me correct.
well, I'll just go ahead, Doc, and just start by saying, man, I voted for this individual, and I'm not, she was the most, in my opinion, qualified candidate. And Doc, you mentioned this before, man. People make mistakes. People are, not infallible, if you would. But man, I've yet to hear any real commentary from a criticism standpoint of some of the failures. No sample ballots that were mailed out, Doc. A lot of the things that have been taking place.
Last year you had what, misprinted ballots.
You got
This was
misprinted.
last year, remember?
Yeah.
So this is the second year in a row we got incorrect ballots or for a special election, and now you got over 500,000 ballots printed.
So yeah, you got over 500,000 ballots printed.
Of the 500,000 ballots printed had candidates in the wrong order.
in the wrong order in the Orange County mayor's race and the clerk of the
Now
court race.
that
You got problems
that
involved in
but
incorrect
Rob,
draft production files, and that could have caused tabulation equipment to associated voters marked with the wrong candidate if not corrected. The office says all affected ballots were identified and accounted for, and established a public duplication hand review process before I mean,
now this is where did you see the story this weekend about
no.
the AI manager that fired an employee?
AI manager that fired an
The
employee.
AI manager fired a real life employee. Fired them.
Where did this take place at?
I can't remember. I found the story fascinating, but I brought that up because I'm getting ready to say they need to get AI down there to supervise of election office and fire whoever keep making it.
Hey Doc, can you get this? Can you get
Quality
this joke?
control.
Hey Doc, can you get this joke? If an AI manager fired a real person, there was definitely no hard feelings in that. You missed the joke. You missed. You missed AI.
No hard feelings.
Yeah.
Cause it ain't
Man.
got no feelings.
No feelings.
It evaluated the person on their work product and their work performance, and determined that they were not a good fit for the organization. I'm gonna make sure that we get that for next week, because that's a very fascinating story. Very fascinating
AI.
story.
But you know, Doc, and I know we got a few minutes left. Second major ballot production mistake within roughly 1 year in August 2025, which an informational sample ballot mailed to 88,000 voters in House the wrong Democratic candidate. You hear what I just said?
Yeah.
And that you know who that was, right?
Who?
That was former Representative McCurdy, who was running against Rashawn. Is it Rashawn Young? I don't know if that.
Yeah. That's right.
The elections office acknowledged that a mistake originated internally, not with the printer, and that the office proofing process failed to catch it. I mean, Doc, why is this so quiet? I mean, again, I'll acknowledge, man, you know, some folk make mistakes, but I will say this, and I don't want to belabor this, Doc, but we had a former supervisory election that none of this took place with. And I mean, they were up to scrutiny and criticism like crazy. I'm just saying.
Oh man, they rode the person like Lone Ranger ride silver. And it seemed that no matter what this person did, there was somebody waiting in the wings to criticize it, over examine it, and have a problem with it.
But Doc, here's a litany of things that we're talking about. This makes the 2026 incident more significant because it raises legitimate and quality control and management process questions rather than appearing to be an isolated mistake. All we're saying, Doc, and you and I are saying the same thing. Here are a lot of issues that should be concerning to major parties. Major parties. This should be concerning to everybody, but you're not hearing a whole lot about it.
Well, when you have the politics of protection and favoritism, that's what you're gonna get.
Well, Doc, we down to 2 minutes, man. What do you want to leave everybody with, Doc? Because you got a lot of wisdom, brother. Drop us a nugget.
Grow you some mustard line.
Hey, and by the way, thank you for those great.
And it's so relaxing, man. I'm so glad that I took up this little hobby. And Rod, I really have enjoyed it. Now I've harvested all my muscadine.
How many pounds do you think you got out of that?
I got about 35 pounds. So
35?
I got 4 gallons of wine going, and I made 8 jars of jelly, and I have about 15 pounds in the freezer.
Well, Doc, I will tell you this. I'll come to you and get my grapes because I'm one of those Southern boys and I don't like snakes. You run across a snake yet?
No, but listen, I was reading today. I'm in a group, and they were talking about how the possums and the raccoons like muscadine. I told you the squirrels love muscadines because they get drunk.
Okay, Doc.
The
Get
grapes
drunk
will
off of muscadine?
they will ferment on the vine. And when they ferment, the animals will come and get them and be drunk. The birds and the squirrels will do that.
Well, tell you what, I got to tell you, Doc, I enjoyed your muscadines. I didn't. Grape is a grape to me, but now you've helped me articulate the difference between them. But Doc, brother, I appreciate you and keep them grapes coming, man. My wife love them too, brother.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
Doc, you don't have to
I'm
go
working
home.
on 3 more trees for next year. So
See, that's your artwork, man. You can have that. But hey, Doc, Black brother, appreciate the night with you. Appreciate how you help us navigate and how we get to the point. But brother, you don't have to go home.
but you got to get out of here.
We'll see y'all next week on Let's Talk